In the last episode, we spoke about loving our neighbors. Obviously, we cannot love our neighbors if we are causing harm to our neighbors. The Bible talks about avoiding ill-gotten gain, not plundering, not making a profit by harming others. Early in Eventide's history, I was praying that God will give me a framework for investing. And as I was praying through Romans chapter 12, what I saw is that we need to hate what is evil, and that our love must be without hypocrisy. As Finney and I were praying together, an early passage that we came to was Proverbs chapter 1, verses 10 to 19. It says, "My son, if sinful men entice you, if they say, 'Come along with us, let's lie in wait for innocent blood, let's ambush some harmless soul, let's swallow them alive and whole like the grave." The chapter goes on to say, "We will get all sorts of valuable things, and we will fill our houses with plunder. Cast your lot with us." Proverbs says not to go along with such people. As I was reading this as an investor, I remember thinking to myself, imagine thinking we will share all sorts of capital gains and dividends and fill our mutual funds, fill our IRAs, fill our 401k plans with plunder. Invest with us instead of cast your lot with us. We will share the common purse. We will share the mutual fund. We will share the exchange traded fund. The Bible says, "My son, do not go along with such people. Do not share in their profits." As Christians, we have to be very mindful that in the public marketplace, in the public stock market, there are all sorts of ill-gotten gain, whether it's tobacco, pornography, abortion, alcohol, gambling, violent video gaming, environmental harm. We as Christians need to be very careful that we're not participating in ill-gotten gain at the expense of harming others. We need to be pursuing profit that comes as a byproduct of a job well done, byproduct of serving the needs of the world. Let me give you one example of an ill-gotten gain within the stock market. The example of tobacco. Tobacco is a major problem in the stock market. You got companies that are publicly traded like Philip Morris International, Altria Group, British American Tobacco, Japan Tobacco. All of these companies are exploiting their customers both here in America as well as the rest of the world. Take, for example, what's happening in Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. About 40% of boys ages 13 to 15 are addicted to cigarettes, and about 25% of girls ages 13 to 15 are addicted to cigarettes. In the last 100 years, 100 million people have died from tobacco use. In the next 100 years, 1 billion people are expected to die from tobacco use. It's a major problem. For me, it hit home when I learned that the largest college savings education fund in America, their top holding was a tobacco company. So American parents are saving for their children through the profits that are coming from the exploitation of the poorest children in the world. It's a travesty. We as Christians, we need to be mindful that we are avoiding ill-gotten gain, that we're partnering with companies that are doing good in the world. Christians will come to me and say, "Robin, isn't the ultimate goal to give money away? If there's some ill-gotten gain in my portfolio, but if I'm being generous with it, isn't that honoring to God?" I will say, well, I don't see that as a category in the Bible where God says make ill-gotten gain in order to be more generous, in order to give more money away. Deuteronomy 23:18 says not to bring the earnings of a prostitute into the temple to pay any vow. We see this principle in the New Testament. When Judas brings the blood money into the temple, the Bible says that the high priest says it is unlawful for us to receive this into the temple. John Wesley, the Methodist church father, he said, "Make all you can to give all you can." This is in the sermon, the use of money. He said, "Make all you can to give all you can, but make all you can without hurting yourself or your neighbor in body or in soul." There are so many verses in the Bible. There are so many examples from church history that should convict us to avoid ill-gotten gain. When I think about the ill-gotten gain issue, I often think about a story in my own family. It's a story of my grandfather and my uncle, my dad's oldest brother. who was 20 years older than my dad. My grandfather was a pastor, and my grandmother was a very prayerful woman. They would pray, they would live generously, but they had very, very little. Back when my dad was a very small boy, my grandfather was so poor that he would go to bed crying at night because he couldn't feed his children. One night, as he was crying, there's a story in my family that one of my dad's older brothers, prophesied to him and said, "This Egypt that you see before you today, you will never see again." And another older brother ends up getting a job soon after in northern India. And that job allowed my family to not be in poverty anymore. This older brother would send most of the money he made back to the home in order to help his father and mother feed his brothers and sisters. But soon after, he wrote to my grandfather and said, "There's a lot of bribery, there's a lot of ill-gotten gain that I'm having to participate in order to get paid my salary." My grandfather said, "We cannot take ill-gotten gain. Please come back home." The family went back into starvation. When I think about that, when I think about the big sacrifices that Christians across the world are making, why are we in America debating about the profits that come from tobacco or abortion or pornography when we could easily invest those dollars and make money in ways that honor God? We're not asking anybody to go hungry. We're simply asking people to be mindful, to reallocate those dollars into the companies that are serving well the needs of the world. You may be listening to me, hearing these stories and these Bible verses, and wondering what you're investing in. And we have built a tool for you to really help you to understand what you're investing in. You could go to goodinvestor.com, and there's a screening tool on there where you could put in your current ticker symbols and you could know what you're investing in. We hope that this tool will be a good starting place for you as you seek to understand what God is calling you to as an investor. We want to be there partnering with you and supporting you along the way.